Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Just another quiet day here on the mountain. Everything's going really well. I feel great these days. This little reset I've been doing is just what I needed. I'm feeling phenomenal, lots of energy. I've just been eating tons of fruit, lots of greens. I haven't been adding any fat. I haven't added any fat since it's been about a week since I was at the beach. And really, the only fat I had at the beach was just a little bit of shredded coconut on top of these acai bowls that I had. Other than that, I haven't added any covert fat in about 10 or 11 days. And it's been extremely low fat for about 14 days. Just kind of like I said, you can go back and watch my video. I did a raw vegan reset. I'm just kind of like, I was going a little bit higher on the fat for a while. And I kind of correct that, and I always go through certain cycles throughout the year. But anyhow, feeling wonderful right now. Just wanted to talk a little bit today about why people aren't succeeding on this raw vegan lifestyle, and there's a number of reasons. Basically, they all kind of fall under one reason. People are trying to complicate something that is actually in its most basic form as simple as it gets. As simple as it gets. I don't try to frustrate people. I get questions a lot of time, and they're very detailed questions, and I'm like, you're asking detailed questions of a very big picture, simple type person. It's hard for me to, it is and it isn't in some situations. It's hard for me to think outside of myself, of my experience, when people ask me about questions when it relates to food, because, I do this thing a certain way. I keep it simple. If anything, I wouldn't even say I try to teach. I just try to kind of like show you my example of how I'm doing it. And if there's anything to take from me, is like, I'm just about the simplicity. I'm not the person to get into like a bunch of detail and difficult methods of doing this lifestyle. I just do it by eating a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables every day. It's about as simple as it gets. I've been trying to share a lot of my food in this new group on Facebook, the 30-Day Raw Vegan Food Challenge. And just to kind of, like I say, just by example. That's what I try to do through all my social media accounts, and to a large extent on here. A lot of my Facebook, a lot of, not Facebook, but a lot of Instagram, a lot of Snapchat, all that stuff is what I'm eating in a day. And sometimes I don't have the most exciting accounts that are all these spectacular this and that every day, because I'm very basic. I eat the same things over and over. Like yesterday, I post this, whether it's in the Instagram stories or whatever, I post these a lot, my smoothies, because these things that I do will get you through a lot of all these questions that people ask, all these problems that people seem to be encountering. Because when you're filling yourself up, when you're doing the things that you need to do to be successful, it's not that difficult to be raw vegan. It's more difficult in certain areas depending on what you can get, but you just have to adapt the best you can. Maybe you can't be a fully raw vegan. Or maybe you want to put that, maybe there's people that put extreme effort into it and do it in places that you would think you couldn't do it. But it's just about staying simple. And like I said, I did a video almost devoted to this a while back. The number one reason people aren't succeeding on this lifestyle is because they're not eating enough food. I don't know that you just can't drill that into people. They're not eating enough food. They're new to this lifestyle. They still have the cravings from bad food, stuff from the standard American diet. So when they let themselves get hungry and they keep trying to fight it off like they've been always taught to do, like hold off, then the mind spins out of control and they eat bad choices. Now, when I'm showing these smoothies that have damn near 800-900, sometimes 1,000 calories in them, that's going to get you breakfast, ice cream, 9 or 10 bananas for breakfast for an ice cream. That's almost 1,000 calories. That should get you to lunch right there, even if you don't have time or if you weren't able to do something, say, mid-morning. So that's it right there. That's why most people aren't succeeding, because they're not eating. And they're not eating because, and here's another one that's really important, they're trying to do this lifestyle like you do a diet, like they've done any type of diet. I remember watching my mom. It was all about this, and I think people feel better and like they're doing more when there's it's a little bit more organized and you have active things to do and you're making charts and you're talking to people. I remember my mother going to Weight Watchers. When I think about these types of diet programs, I always go back to the very originals, the Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig's, and people. It made people feel like they were active and engaged, because my mother would go to a meeting weekly and they would have a weigh-in and they would have support. And they would get up and tell their stories, and they would have these meal plans, and it was all laid out and this and that. Whatever happened? What did I see even growing up? People would lose weight, they'd get all excited, somebody would lose 10, they'd get their chip or whatever, they'd lose 20 pounds. But eventually that stuff didn't stick, because it was a complicated and it was a process. It fell by the wayside. Jenny Craig, the same. All these diets, or people restrict, they do a program, they run around in circles, and they will lose weight, mostly through the restricting, but in the end they get that weight back because they're following a diet. They're doing a diet and they're not relearning. They're not learning a lifestyle. I'll mention over and over, nothing I do is restrictive. I don't live a less than life. I mean, everything I eat, I would prefer to eat to what these other people are eating. I just enjoy my food every day. What else? Let me look at my list here. Another reason that people aren't succeeding is because they're obsessed with being fully raw. That's the irony of it. People aren't succeeding on the raw vegan lifestyle because they're obsessed with the raw part of it. They're obsessed with raw over everything, even over health. I've seen it. I've seen people say it. I've seen it in front of my eyes, and I've seen the choice, and it's like somebody made in my opinion, I guess if they just raw is everything, they made a bad raw choice where they could have made a much better cooked choice, but it was all about the raw. And when I say that, when I kind of lead from obsessing about being fully raw vegan, or it's all about the raw part, into people aren't doing this thing properly. They're not transitioning. They're skipping steps, so to speak. Sometimes I'll see discussions and it's like somebody that's either been raw vegan, maybe they've been able to hang on and be raw vegan for 3 or 4 weeks, and they're either discussing or asking questions about some minute, very detail of something, when you still need to be focusing on just the big picture of just eating more, of incorporating more fresh fruits and vegetables into your lifestyle every day. The group mentality and people and the internet whole thing and people networking and whatever, I think a lot of times people come to this lifestyle and it's almost kind of competitive. They're not so much like, once again, they're not focusing on their health. They just want to rise to the top of raw veganism. They see the people in the groups talk, kind of bragging about what they're living on and how little they're eating and how pure they are, and people want to get there. And you've got to go through the steps. You have to transition properly. It's like anything you're learning, you have to get the basics before you get to the advanced parts of things. That's where no matter what you're learning, you got to walk before you run. So, to finish, basically, just look at this as your health. Another irony is that the raw is the best for me, for sure, but I still don't like to see people harping on raw all the time. Focus on the health, focus on plants, focus on fruit, focus on eating more fruits and plants. Focus on making a plan to getting to be more raw, but don't be so impatient to be fully raw. And that might be the biggest problem of all, is people are impatient to get to fully raw, to be able to wear that badge, to be able to go into that group and say, yes, I am fully raw. It's about your health, people, But anyhow, just my 2 cents worth. Hope you guys like this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button over there, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. Peace.